no game. It's that CSC game. They said pull up, so I came. You better put some respect on their name. Yeah, 55, what's goody? Kill the vibe, how could he? Big card on the hoodie. Let me break it down for you fully. This ain't your average broadcast. This ain't just no podcast. The mother shows spread fake news. We just call them broadcast. West, Joey, Sam, Sean, Dante. And you know that boy Higgy. He said he don't want no small fries. Tell them they better make them biggie. Yeah, you already know what we be on. We got the crown, we hold the throne. We throw the mails and you take them home. When they ring the bells, you know that it's home. The bar set, we setting the tone. If we set it, then set it in stone. Sit in the street, set up your phone. You in the Cardinal sports zone.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, as always, Jeremy Wyman, coming to you live from the Triple C Studios, the Collision Course Crew Studios, that is. It's a mouthful. Again, this is Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wyman. Absolutely. Best intro in sports podcast history. Thanks, Sam, for not being in the show, but being in the chat. I appreciate it. You're probably busy working. Brian, what's good? Aaron, what's good? Look, we got a very special guest in the house, and I'm just going to tease him for one more second. Here with my co-host tonight, Sean Barber. Sean, what's good?
How's it going, everybody?
Well, probably less better than it was before you started talking. Sadly. Don't forget the chat line is open. What's up, Dwayne? What's up? If you're currently watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, send us your questions. We're here to. What's up, Bill? Bill in the building. Shayna, what's going on? Tom, TJ, what's good? Look, I'm telling you, we got a good show tonight, and I'm going to try not to drag it on any further. Again, check on the graphic below us right now to see how you can follow the CSZ podcast on social media and how to help out the podcast monetarily. Sean is not in the basement. What's good, Wes? Sam with the face plant. So what is this IU snitch I've been seeing this week? I don't know. What's up, Shayna? Shanna. I said Shayna. I'm sorry. What's up, Shanna? So, yeah, busy week this week so far. A whole lot of complaining yesterday. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Not going to spend too much time with it. But, look, I can't waste this time any longer. This guy, he not only means so much to me personally, but he means so much to Louisville football history. And, yeah. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button for us. Like it. He's always been so good to me personally from the first day we met, and that's a cool story in itself. I'll tell y'all about it here after I introduce him. But for a long time he was the most electrifying Jackson in Louisville football history. I still think you got to put him in Lamar 1A 1B. And I know a lot of y'all, which I hate now because I got to say a lot of y'all youngsters, because Higgy never saw me, Ivan, Chris, Arnold, any of us play. He just heard about us, which makes me feel kind of, well, like you look, Sean, old. But
uneffing believable.
You better believe it. So without further ado, this guy had 400 catches and 5 million yards each season at Louisville. Had a pretty good quarterback. You know the quarterback I'm talking about. He was number 10 in the program, but number 1 in our hearts is my man Arnold Jackson. Arnold, what's good?
What's good, bro?
Not much. I try to do you justice.
Yeah.
I still don't think I did, man. So just telling some personal stories that won't get any of us in trouble, obviously. The first time I met you, I got off work. I worked at EA Sports. And I got off work and went and picked Lavelle up. And I guess you and Lavelle had clicked at first because y'all hung out a whole bunch. And we all went out to eat for lunch. And we were getting to know each other. And you were like, where do you work at? I was like, EA Sports. And the first thing he says is, y'all got that Madden yet? and I did. And I made you look. I didn't charge no money for it. I got free games all the time working there. And that's where the friendship started, and ever since, man. We talk to each other. We don't get to talk face to face or even on the phone, but we text with each other probably, gosh, 4 or 5 times a month.
Yeah,
At least. And you've been checking on me since I've been down, and I really appreciate that.
yeah.
Hi, Miss Kelly. Hi, Walter. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Miss Tiffany. Bubba Ray. He's 1 foot 27 inches tall. But it's just like, man, it is so good to have you on the show. I wanted to have, because some things have happened in the last couple of weeks. First off, I was putting my guest list together before the season, and I'm like, if I can get everybody to say yes, which they have, it's going to be a good show lineup this year. And I was like, I have to have Arnold on the show. Another reason you're so special to me is because, honestly, when me and my wife got together, the first team she watched was your first season, because I just met her. Lavelle had got us tickets to all the games.
Yeah.
Because Lavelle got 100, because he had like 73 kids, so he got 1 ticket for each kid. And so he always took care of us, but she would always say, why is he running backwards just to run forwards?
Yeah.
And I'm like, baby, that's just what Arnold does. That's just what AJ does.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
if there were no flags ever thrown, Arnold would have the most kickoff return touchdowns in college football history.
Oh, yeah, I'd have had a few.
But unfortunately, because of his running style, the lineman couldn't keep up with him, and you saw yellow all over the place.
Yeah.
So, what's up, Mike? What's up, Charles? So, if y'all have any questions for Arnold, make sure you all send them on the chat line. Brian says his first memory of U of L football was catching a pass from Rico Clark. Rico was a DB. I don't know. Second was watching Arnold Jackson and Chris Redmond. Well, yeah, because they were the dynamic duo. Honestly, that team of receivers y'all had your freshman year, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know some of them bled over, but I believe it was Sheffield, Parker, Boyd, Iben, and you, and then Dion came the next year, right? Y'all didn't play all your years together. Y'all was like one after the other.
Yeah, one after the other. Yeah, definitely.
Crazy, man, because I remember how prolific you were on the football field, and to think the very next year we had Dion on the other, and that's why the offense was so successful, because then you had Big Iben running up the middle of the field just bullying people.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
That was a great time, man. But just tell everybody, I know I've kind of got selfish and started talking about my memories with you, but what you been up? Tell everybody what you've been up to, and how things are going for you at the moment.
So as of now, I do anesthesia now at one of the local hospitals here in Jacksonville, Florida. And
Okay.
I get out there. Some games I go out and check my nephew out, play a little bit of Pop Warner football, and just pretty much hang out with the family. So that's where I'm at now. I'm gonna get back to the Ville and hang out with Lavelle and those guys. We're gonna get together and just come and just hang out. So I'll be in the Ville sometime soon. Catch one of those good games.
Listen, you say that. I'm going off script for a second. I got all this stuff wrote down in front of me, and you mentioned something that leads me to another. So let's just get the elephant out of the room first. What's up, JK? What's up, Charles? October 28th is Alumni Day. Will you be? I don't want you to say, yeah, I'll be there, and then you don't get to for some reason, because you do anesthesia. Your job's pretty important. You may not be able to just get off to come to Louisville, hang out, watch some football. So are you going to try to come up for that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to do everything I can to get there. It's long overdue. I got to get back there and have a good time with the guys.
Absolutely. And on October 28th, something is happening that I thought was never going to happen, but should have happened a long time ago. Iben's getting his number honored, putting up in the bleachers. Phenomenal feat. Glad that's finally happening for him. But there's another guy, and I know how humble this guy is, so he's going to be like, no, stop, don't. But there's another guy that belongs up there, and his name is Arnold Jackson. So seeing that Iben, I knew it. He's going to be like, no, don't, stop. And that's just, I mean, dude, that's just how it is. But here's what I will say. and I'm going to speak this into existence because I'm a big believer. I've been sitting here tooting on social media trying to get them to induct both you and Ivan for about 6 years now, which is where when I felt like y'all should have been ever since we started the show, really, Sean. Not only because y'all are my friends, probably a big part of it, but because the things I saw both of you all do on the football field, I have not seen anybody do those since. I had never seen anybody do that before. I feel so blessed that you all were my friends and teammates. Me and you didn't get to be teammates. I left because of injury like 3 months before you showed up on campus, but still, we had a tight bond back then. But next year's, I'm calling it right now, next year's Alumni Day, the newest inductee, number 10, Arnold Jackson.
Oh, that's huge.
Look, I'm calling it. Listen, you deserve it, dude. And I hate, listen, I always feel like I'm old when I say things like this because me and Redmond were talking about this the other day, and Ivan too. We were like, dude, we didn't have YouTube clips or huddle clips or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Most of their game film most of the games from back then ain't even on YouTube. You got to find like highlight reels or stuff like that.
Yeah. That's part about it. You know, it's kind of like they wiped out a lot of our history within the game. I just wish I could just kind of get some of that back to watch it and let my son see that good stuff. You know, I just could really find no game tape.
I think now, don't quote me on this, but I believe Lavelle said that he's got all of the raw footage from y'all's game. So maybe get with him. He might be able to get you some tapes or even find somebody to make a highlight reel for you. Have you got a chance, Arnold, to check out this year's Louisville football team?
Not much. I usually catch the highlight because of work or whatnot. I'll catch some on ESPN here and there.
Gotcha. So far, 2 of our 4 missing podcast team members are commenting in the chat room, but they are not on the show because they don't know how to be here on time. So it is what I had to call him out a little bit, but here's what I do want to talk about. So let's see. What will it mean for you when they do make that call in that email and say, Arnold, you will be here in the stadium forever?
Oh wow, that would be amazing. That would be something huge. I can pass on down to my son, let him see the good work, let family members see the good work, all work put in, and just be a part of the Louisville family. That'll be huge. Everybody up at that stadium will contribute something to the game, and I wouldn't mind being there with them to show my dignity and everything I did along with it.
Absolutely. Again, we are on the line here with Louisville football legend. I mean, that's the only way to put it. Legend Arnold Jackson, aka the sleeper, aka the anesthesiologist. Man, I'm so proud of you, dude. On the field, off the field. Again, you've been one of the. We were talking about this, and I don't remember if we talked about it on the air or off the air. But football really is something that builds lifelong friendships.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
This past 14 months has been a rough 14, and I'm not going to get into this. It's every show somebody asks me something or it pops into my head, but has been really rough. And you and Ivan and Mo and Chris and Lavelle, amongst others, many others, have just checked on me, whether it was my dad passing away or me going into the hospital for 4 months. Like, I love y'all for that. Even though I didn't get to play at the level that y'all got to play at, it was worth it to me to have these lifelong friendships, man. And I really, really do appreciate you.
Hey, bro, anytime, man.
Let's see. Jeremy, can we get Arnold to hit the train horn before kickoff if he can make it for the alumni game? I don't know. That's something we're going to have to ask Josh Hurd and those people up there. The only thing I'm afraid of is that he'll hit the train horn buzzer and the refs will throw a flag on him for holding. I don't know. I just, man. You still there with us, Arnold?
Can you hear me?
A little bit, yeah. You got that inside the hospital internet going on, so it's kind of going in and out now.
How about now? Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little bit better. So I'm only going to keep you for a few seconds longer. I want to go ahead and recap this Murray State game for everybody. Yeah, Wes, the ACC refs will get in there. Arnold will push the button, and they'll throw a flag on them, and they'll probably try to throw multiple ones.
Unnecessary roughness.
Unnecessary roughness. Sean, that's the first funny thing you've said in 6 years on the show. Congrats. The Cards won 56-0, used a record 9 quarterbacks during the game. Plummer threw for 247 passing yards. Last week he threw for 248. So he was consistent, if nothing else. One of those was a 73-yard strike to Arnold Jackson. No, I mean Jamari Thrash. My bad.
Yeah.
If you haven't got to see Jamari Thrash yet, Arnold reminds me exactly of you. Amazing, amazing wide receiver we had this year. He had 3 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown. We had 12 receivers that caught a ball. 7 of those had more than 27 yards. We had 5 rushing touchdowns, including Jahar Jordan, who had 7 rushes for 135 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had another one that they did the Arnold Jackson special. He had a 75. So he literally had, or he technically had 8 rushes for 210 yards, but he had a 75-yard touchdown call back for holding, which you know what that feels like, man. We had 2 more running backs, which was Garindo and gosh, what's the freshman's name? Hurry up.
Keywan Brown.
Keywan Brown. They both, one of them had 11 rushes for 65 yards. The other one had 11 rushes for 66 yards. They both have 1 touchdown. If the offense can continue to do this versus better opponents, got to watch out. Defense played well, got the shutout. Only 1 sack and 1 interception. Pressured the quarterback into a lot of mistakes, though. We had nearly 600 yards in kickoff returns.
Wow.
Right. The kicker was 6 for 6 in extra points. He also punted the ball twice for an average of 52.5 yards per punt. It really was a complete game. We're 4th, I think, in the country with 582 yards of total offense. Only 2 games. It's Murray State and Georgia Tech, so I'm not getting too excited just yet. But at the end of the day, we weren't going to get too much credit nationally for beating Murray State, even though we had trouble with them. I think the last time we played them back in 2012, we only beat them 21-9. It was a tougher game. Maybe we played them in between them, but I remember the one in 2012 because I was watching it down at my. It was the last game I got to watch down at my grandma's house. But it's a good momentum builder for a franchise that has struggled recently under inferior coaching. And Bobby P, I give him a pass for that. His last year he was here because he had a bad season. He lost his dad that probably messed him up the way it messed me up. So I'm giving him a pass for that. I still have nothing but love for him. But Arnold, just from hearing what I just went through, what do you think this year's team can actually do? There's no Clemson, there's no Florida State, Notre Dame's on the schedule. That blue goofy school down the road's on the schedule. NC State's playing okay football. We're at Pitt, and then we have Virginia and Virginia Tech at home. Correct? Virginia Tech at home at Virginia, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what are your thoughts on this season? Just know, I mean, you're an offensive football genius, I would say. I mean, you made it look easy. You made me feel like I was out there playing Tecmo Bowl, but I was just watching you. Without a whole lot of, like you said, you've only got to watch the highlights and stuff. And Jahar Jordan, our running back, is like top 5 in everything nationally. He even graded out, I believe, 3rd in the country at like 92.6. Really good. with the offense like Jeff Brahms, and I know you've watched his offenses over the years.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of a season do you think we can have, especially with the amount of turnover we've not only had coaching wise, but player wise?
I feel from the highlights and talking to Lavelle and the guys, it should be a really exciting season. These guys should win a lot of games. Long as they stay on track, the defense do their thing, and the offense keep putting up numbers like that. They should breeze right through it.
And obviously it does. I mean, this. It gets harder versus better competition. Murray State,
Yeah,
not that difficult. But I was happy to see that we're out there and be able to execute, because we didn't really execute very well the first week, and it was against a Georgia Tech team that's only predicted to have 3 wins this season. So I think it was more so first game jitters. You're playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Had that big fight feel. Anybody that's ever played football knows that sometimes your nerves can get to you during the big games or for opportunities for big games. So let's see. Bubba says people thought Thrash was trash. Man, were they wrong? No, they were wrong, because he's probably. I always say this: Michael Lee Harris was the best route runner I ever watched in practice, ever. And this guy, for me, seeing him practice, I feel is better than Michael Lee.
Oh, wow.
Now, and only problem was Michael Lee's didn't really translate into games. He was really good, just perfect in practice. This guy is not only doing it in practice, but it looks like it's translating into games as well. So
exactly,
I'm very, very excited. Arnold, I'm going to give you the first shot, and then I'm going to let you go, because it sounds like you're still working, and I appreciate you taking time out to talk to me and everything. I want a prediction. We're going to be in Lucas Oil Stadium, another NFL stadium, our second of the year. We'll play in 2 more the rest of the season at Heinz Field. I'm never calling it the other name. Mm-hmm. And then Hard Rock down in Miami. What's the prediction? Okay. Hop back in, and then we'll get his prediction. There we go. Hello? All right. I'm like, man, you didn't want to predict. You didn't have to bounce out. You could have just been like, Jeremy, I gotta go.
One of my Bluetooth just died on me. Okay, what
prediction? What's the score? Lucas Oil Stadium, one of the grandest stages around here, NFL Stadium. What's the final score going to be?
I'm gonna get bold with this one. I'm gonna say 28-0.
Ooh.
I'm gonna get bold with this one.
I like it. So Arnold's calling 28-0. I'd be very happy with that. I've got other things in mind, and I'll let y'all know that after we let Arnold go. Arnold, thank you so much for coming on. The fans here in the chat are just going crazy. They love you too. You know how much I love you, my friend.
Definitely.
We'll get you back on soon, and hopefully we can link up next time you're in town.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
Definitely.
Arnold Jackson, everybody. And you can follow him on Twitter at AJ10UL. Sean.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of your favorite players growing up.
Oh, yeah.
What was that like? I should have let you ask him a question. I just took off. I'm so sorry. Next time, interject, because at least you show up.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, and by the way, I'm throwing daggers at all the people from the podcast crew that are in the chat that didn't show up. No, Mason, we don't want a Sprite cranberry.
Oh, buddy.
He's in the chat. I do want you to get me that Photoshop I asked for so we can send it to Sean.
Oh, God.
Where's Shiggy? I don't know. I think he's probably sitting. They announced that this Chick-fil-A over here off of Preston that they just built is opening on the 19th. So he's probably in a car on his way to sit in line for free Chick-fil-A for the year. I don't know. I'm throwing daggers everywhere. I only had one person to tell me they couldn't be here tonight, and it was for a warranted reason. So everybody else just no-showed me. So Sean, next time, interject or raise your hand. Raise
my hand.
Yeah, Steve Franconi in the building. What's up, Brandon and Brandon? Johnny, Crystal. Look, we got a full house tonight, and I appreciate y'all tuning in. Book, bok, bok. Yes. I know you meant bok, bok, bok. Sean, Listen, first off, IU is a bunch of softies, right? This week they canceled they've already canceled the third game in the series in Bloomington.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've the third series was the third game in Louisville or Bloomington.
I think it was in Bloomington. Yeah,
but this week they're trying. I don't know if it's successfully happened yet, but they're trying to back out of the game here in Louisville next year. I'm okay with a bunch of chicken poops, says Bubba. So here's what I gotta say about that. I hate them. They're a bunch of losers, not Hoosiers. They're losers, and I'm not worried about them at all, Sean. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to talk just in a second. But here's why I'm not scared. Who better to have as your head coach than the guy that's been scouting IU for the past 5-6 years as the hated rival? Mm-hmm. You've got a cheat. He's a ringer, actually. We've got a ringer that's coaching the team that knows what they're going to do. Before I realized that, and I should have realized it, but earlier in the week before I realized that, I was like, this probably be 34-24. Absolutely not. But I'm not going to give my prediction just yet. Sean, tell me how you feel about the game. Again, to lead it off, they're a bunch of wussies. They're soft, and they're backing away. They were fine playing against the coach not to be named, but don't want any of Coach Brom, says Brian McGlasson. Yes. James, stay tuned for your question. We're going to get to that. Bubba says he will not let off the gas. Absolutely not. Sean, the floor is yours.
IU.
All right, well, that's too much. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Sean.
IU, IPOO, whatever you want to call them. I'll tell you, their defense, it's pretty good. What they did against Ohio State. Now, I will say that Ohio State was breaking a new quarterback, but they also have Marvin Harrison Jr., who many people say is going to be a number one receiver taken. He only had like 2 catches for like 30 yards. Yet, I think that they're scared of Jeff Brom. That's why they got out of the series. As soon as they saw Jeff Brom's name, they're like, nope, we're done. We're out. So they're going to come with everything they have to the battle on Saturday. There's no doubt in my mind of that. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, because I don't think you're going to be able to stop Jawara Jordan. I think that a guy like Ben Perry is going to have a big game. I suspect he's going to have his best game of the year because, unfortunately, he was kicked out unceremoniously and unjustly in the Georgia Tech game. So my opinion is this is going to be a game. It's going to be, I'm going to go 40-24. I'm going to give them a few points because they got that new quarterback, can run the ball a little bit, and we had a little trouble with that.
What is up, Hunter? Hunter Smith in the building. Look, here's what I'm going to say. They do have a tricky little dual quarterback situation going on. It may take us a couple quarters to get used to that. But let's see, Brian, and I'll let y'all interrupt me, just not Sean. Brian says Ohio State has a new quarterback, new O-line, and Marvin Harrison Jr. was hurt for parts of that game. Bubba Ray, small guy, says Gelati will eat. Well, that's a certain. I feel like by halftime, we'll have things figured out. The adjustments will be made at the half. Before, like I said, I was going to predict 34-24 and be nice. But Indiana's not nice. All my Purdue family that lives up in Indiana have been texting me all week saying, lay it to Indiana. Lay into them. Get it in. And trust me, we're going to try to get it in. I want to see, and I'm going to ask you this question too, I want to see the defensive line apply pressure. I think that because for me, the only issues that we've had has been the middle of the field defensively. And with the linebackers we lost last year, that was to be expected, to have young kids. What's up, Hunter? Young players. They're playing well. The secondary is playing really good. You've not heard, knock on wood, anybody so-and-so burnt for a like we have in the last 6-7 seasons. It's really been the middle of the field and the middle of the field tackling. Those kids are good players. They will mature by the end of the year and be great players. But what I need to see is just a C effort from the linebackers. But I need an A+ effort from the D line. We already know the DBs are going to give us an A+ effort. Plummer will come out firing, trying to speak it into existence. Yeah. Well, if the last two games give us anything, he threw for 248 one game, 247 the next game, so he might throw for 246. Funny part about that is before the game, we did an over-under in the house. Sean, you came over to watch the game, and we're like, Plummer threw for 248 last week, over-under, and everybody said over. But it was a 1 yard under, and we had a big laugh. Robbie, you missed it. If late to the show, it's going really good. We're getting into the IU breakdown. Arnold Jackson, we had Arnold Jackson on the show. Bubba says he's going to throw for 350 yards this game. I love it. I want it. That's what I want. That is what I want. Speak that into existence. But I haven't seen anything yet to show me that that's going to happen. He needs to. So let me finish defense. Y'all know how I am. I get on one topic and then it's shiny nickel and I'm bouncing all around. Defensively, I need to see the defensive line apply pressure to help out with the linebackers. Whatever plays miscues they may have, and they may not have any. But if the defensive line's playing up to the ability we know that they can play at, I'm not worried about anything defensively. Offensively, and I don't know this to be true. This is I've talked to former Cardinal great quarterbacks and current friends of mine that play quarterback and asked them like if what I see is what they see. To me, it just looks like Plummer has a lack, maybe not even a lack of focus, but there's times where you can see where he hesitates too much. And he should follow his reads. So I don't know if that's a timing thing. I don't know if it's a focus thing, but our offensive line and the run block has been phenomenal so far. The running backs, they've done their jobs. The tight ends have gotten open when they needed to and blocked when they've needed to. And this offense is going to be heavy pass run block for the tight ends. You're not going to see, in my opinion, you're not going to see a whole bunch of tight end plays directed strictly for the tight end. I think there weren't any the first game. And there were like two or three. There were two against Murray State. So Brian says Plummer is making great reads. Just needs to make those reads quicker. Coach will help fix them. Bubba agrees. I appreciate that, Robbie. He's making great reads, but there's been times both games where he's thrown it too low, or he's overthrown, underthrown. Just got to stay focused. What's up, Terry? Yeah, you missed half the show already, man. I thought you was gonna miss the second half. It's wild. I'm just kidding. So, what do you want to see, Sean, from the offense and defense of this game?
I want to actually see a little more Joey Gatewood, believe it or not. He played really well. I know it's against Murray, and they probably had their second team in, but he looked athletic. He looked like a guy that can be a huge weapon as a tight end in the passing game. And that's one thing I would like to see evolve a little more in the offense, because I think that would help Jack Plummer a lot. The other thing I want to see is I just want to see pretty much everybody else has been saying. I just want to see Jack Plummer be a little more sure of himself.
He's a little more confident. His confidence looks real shaky.
Yeah, and also I do notice sometimes you watch his head, it'll tilt down just a little bit after about 2 seconds, because I think he's looking at a pass rush, even though he shouldn't have to worry about it. He's looking at it because he played at California last year, and he was just, it seemed like every time he dropped back, there was guys right in his grill. So I think that's another thing, is you just got to trust his line.
So what I don't want to see are our DBs getting beat.
No.
I don't think that'll happen. I really didn't have anything else other than that for what I not want to see. I feel like this team has started out slow, but sure, the little engine that could, it's chugging along. It's got IU this week. It's got Boston College the next week. Start to finally get some challenges in NC State and Notre Dame the following 2 weeks. James Gartland says Louisville about 10. I think it'll be about a lot more than that. Chris says when Plummer starts leading his wide receivers and not underthrowing, he'll be great. I think was the rest of that statement. Bubba says he has to get out of his head and just play more Bubba passes to the tight end. I'm sorry, more short passes to the tight end. Those will lead to the big plays. Absolutely. My prediction is this. It's Payne. It's 41. It's 41 Louisville. Sorry. Louisville 41. Easy for me to say. Indiana 17. They can eat a diss. Bringing that back for one show and one show only. They should be no match for us. We're more talented than them almost every single facet of the game, every position. Robbie says the complete game in all phases of football, offensive, defense, special teams, kicking, solid offensive and defensive line play, Plummer becoming more confident under center. Absolutely. It wasn't, even though it was against, that would be like me at Doss. Yeah, man, we beat Trundle Elementary 72-0. You wouldn't believe the swim move I had on little Jimmy from first grade. It's crazy. So you're not going to hear me give them a lot of proud of them. I think that was basically a glorified scrimmage, and they did what they were supposed to do. So yeah, Bubba, we need to bring that back soon. I kind of know a couple people from yesterday I could throw in that little, but I won't do it. It's good, Jeremy. Good Jeremy's going to be here for the rest of the show. So my bold prediction, Gatewood throws a touchdown Saturday.
Interesting thought.
Okay. Yeah. Well, my bold prediction was 41-17. Hunter says 34-17. Keep sending in y'all's predictions. We'll keep reading them. Bradley in the house. What's up, Brad? Let's move on to basketball. And this has been a controversial topic this week by people that like to be controversial for little to no reason. Little Jimmy, our true voice. I'm glad you caught that, Wes. They announced yesterday, Red White Games, October the 11th. They're going to do some autographs, and there's going to be some other stuff they do around it in place of Louisville Live. No Louisville Live this year. Josh Hurd said that just couldn't justify spending $500,000 for the event this season. I don't have a problem with it. Kenny's really in a situation now, and I know there are people out there that disagree, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with me. You also don't have to hop on my timeline, tell me you don't agree with me, because I'm putting my opinions out there. I'm not telling you your opinions are wrong. That being said, Josh took the heat for it, and until he starts winning, KP is in a lose-lose situation. We didn't have it. People are mad. If we did have it, those same people that were mad wasn't even going to show up anyway. Doc Davis, 32-21 Louisville. He says West Keys in the building, 35-14. No, Bubba. See, you're trying to start stuff. No, that's not his name. Initials. Why do a red white on a Wednesday? I don't know. Maybe that's the only day they had the opportunity to. It works out for me because it's on the only day before I leave for vacation that my wife don't work. So we will be there. It wouldn't have mattered though, Tom. Listen, if they'd had it on a Monday, why is it on a Monday? If they'd had it on a Friday like last couple years ago, why is it on a Friday when it was on Saturday? Why is it done during the football game when it was Sunday? It's too early. Like, they can't win up there. Lottie and Josh and Zach and Rocco bust their butts to try to give us everything they can. It's never good enough for everybody. And it's not going to be. You're not going to please everybody doing one thing. So it is what it is. Coming off, for me, I feel like it was the right call. Even if it wasn't a money issue. I feel like coming off a 4-win season, we're not even recruiting that many people. Well, why aren't we recruiting that many people, Jeremy? Tell us. Well, it's because there's a possibility that our entire team can return next season. And if we play as well and we improve over the summer, we don't need a whole lot of pieces. And I was told that yesterday by somebody who would know. When I asked them, I said, hey, like, what's going on with the recruiting? Well, we're recruiting Stokes, Carter Knox, Jaden Johnson. But our roster may be full. Now, that's not saying they won't make roster spots for guys that they want, that we've been talking about all this time, that they've been talking to me about all this time. But right now, that seems like the main targets. When I asked about Carter Knox, it was like everybody on Twitter, which every time I say that, people get really aggravated with me. And I'm getting aggravated with myself when I do that. But I'm like, people on Twitter think that Carter Knox is a Kentucky lock, and he very well may be. Why are y'all even recruiting him? And the person I spoke with truly believes that they still have a shot with him. Or they wouldn't be. Do y'all think they're that stupid that they would recruit somebody who was already a done deal? No, they wouldn't do that. So there's just going to be very limited slot. And if this team can get moving the way I think it can get going this year, I feel like, from what I've heard and saw myself, that 22 wins is not out of the question. I think it could be more. I do not think it'll be less. And I may be being unfair to KP by throwing out 22 and saying, hey, you got to win 22 this year. Absolutely don't think you have to win 22. I think we have to have a winning record for him. Well, actually, unpopular opinion and hot take, I think he gets a third year no matter what. I mean, we can't win 4 games again. We can't win 10 games. We can't win 12. I think he's there 3 years regardless. And I think he deserves to be, because last year, even though a lot of people count that as his first year, I'm counting this year as his first year. First off, so I can forget last year. And secondly, because he had to come in last year. Those weren't his guys. These are his guys. There are a couple of the last regime's guys in there, but he spent enough time with these guys that they're his guys now. People was hating on Nolan for having his red warm-up suit. Yeah, he was at the practice facility doing his job. They asked him to come out. They literally asked him at the last second, can you come to the football game? Did y'all want him to drive all the way home to change, just drive all the way back up to the football stadium to say hi to the recruits that were there, then turn around and go all the way back home? No, like it's ridiculous. The things that people, it is what it is. So I didn't think about that. Certainly encouraging the whole team can come back, says Robbie. Hunter says, I truly want KP to succeed. He's an awesome dude. At the same time, I'm just feeling a suspect vibe from the program. Maybe that's just because I'm still in shock. Yeah, it probably is. Listen, Chris, I've asked about him. He's the only one that they've not got back to me about. And I've tried to ask about everybody. Haven't got as soon as I do, I promise you all will find out during the show. But it's just like, KP is a good guy. And no matter who you talk to that knows him, when you say, man, fans want him to be outspoken and this and that, the first thing they say to you is, that's not KP. He's quiet. He moves behind the scenes. That's what he's done at every stop, wherever he's been at. And that's what he's going to continue to do. Well, why aren't we tweeting out who we're visiting? Because they're busy doing their jobs. What if they weren't doing their jobs? Then y'all be pissing and moaning about that. Can we get KP to have a... No, because that's just not him. Great question, Robbie. That's just not KP. Now, once we start winning, I feel like that may come out a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, nobody wants to sit there and have swag or even talk to the media when you've only won 4 games the prior year. As we've said, winning fixes everything. Once we get into this season, I think you'll see a little bit more. But the fact of the matter is, y'all are expecting things out of Kenny Payne that Rick Pitino didn't even do. Rick Pitino liked to talk. He did his press conferences. He didn't do a lot of outside the press conference type stuff. All right, how do we get people out of the chat? Add to block list. That's just how it is. KP is not going to be that person. If that's what y'all want, that's not him. It just isn't. He wants to be proud of what he's doing, and it's going to take him putting a winning product on the court. In last year's team, all the issues they had off the court, he couldn't get it together. I don't blame him for that. I don't blame Nolan for that. I don't blame Danny for that. I blame Josh. No, I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame any of them. Like, they're doing the best they can. None of them were happy about the 4 wins. And that's all I'm really going to say about that. But bold predictions for basketball season, Sean. I'm going to say one. I want you to say one, and then I'm going to give my Super Bowl prediction. My first bold prediction is that we'll win 23 games this year.
I think that we have 2 all ACC first teamers.
Okay. I like that. I don't hate it. 2 first team all okay. The non-conference schedule was, before I give my last one, non-conference schedule was released today. It's not your typical war-filled Louisville non-conference schedule. We got a game against Kentucky at the end of the year. At the beginning of the year, we're in the Empire State Classic. We play Texas, UConn, or IU. We'll play 2 of those 3 teams. Those are hard games. And then the next hardest game on our schedule in the non-conference is DePaul. And I don't know really how tough they are, but they feel like the biggest threat outside of that.
It's also the only true road game.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, that's right. I remember them saying, I remember Marcus saying that during the show today. My big bold prediction. Tyler Johnson will not be joining the team at the break because he'll be there for game 1. Tyler Johnson, I believe, is going to start the season eligible. Prediction, bold prediction. Not Jeremy said he's going to play. Jeremy's saying he feels great about everything he's heard. He really feels like Tyler will be, I don't know why I called him Tyler. That's the way it's written up. Thanks, Higgy. Tyler. It's my fault for keep having him write these up because.
Now, is it spelled Laur?
Yeah.
Because that's how it's spelled. It's just pronounced Taylor or type. Yeah. Or Tyler.
Tyler. Yeah. I think he'll play game 1. Hunter says, can you try and get KP on your show? Maybe. I can try, but I'll be honest with you. Here's where things get dicey for me. And it's the reason why Nolan's not been on here yet. I do want to have my friends on the show, but I do not want to take advantage of them. I feel weird. Yeah. Make sure, Brian, you get on Twitter and say, Jeremy said, it's just weird for me because I talk to him off camera so much. I'll try. You know what? I make you this promise because y'all are always good to me. I'll try to get at least KP or Nolan on the show before the season starts. And we got a blockbuster lineup of football guests, Sean, coming up. Russell, what's up, Russell? Should I tell them now or should we just wait and break people out every week? Or should we get them excited now?
Can you give hints without giving away who it is?
No, I'm too excited. So here's the guests for the rest of the season. In no particular order. Roman Oben, Keith Kelsey.
Wow.
Sam Madison.
Holy crap.
Brandon Radcliffe.
Oh my.
Jalen Smith.
Ooh.
Preston Brown.
Ooh.
Jamon Brown.
Ah, yes.
Chris Redmond. And Dion Branch.
Yeah.
I don't know what order because this week we had one of those guys was penciled in for this week. It canceled, so I had to flip-flop with AJ. Robbie, I'll be honest with you. And y'all are going to think because there's a segment of people out there that are just like, Jeremy and Steve and Marcus, they just like to pump sunshine up people's butts in it. No. I will be honest with you when I feel like we're in trouble. I'll be honest with you when I feel like there's an issue. Yeah, Hunter, I tried this season. Thank you. From what I saw myself, Trenton Flowers was about the 5th or 6th best player on the team. And I love the kid. The kid and his family have been great to me. They've also been ones that have checked in on me every month. That's not downing his talent, Sean. That's me saying that I saw 4 or 5 players. I think Dennis Evans is going to have a monster year. I think Scott Clark, Trey White, Mike James, I think they're going to have monster years. Coach Branch with the 2nd best coaching record of all time now at Louisville. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. He was 1-0, Brom 2-0. Cardinal, that's the only way I know how to do it, man. Heavy hitters. And listen, I can tell you this right now. There'll be one or two of those guys that don't show up because that's how us football players are. Mm-hmm. Well, that's how most football players. Thankfully, I was raised to always be on time. Actually, always be early. Being early was on time. So Make sure you hit the like button. Thank you, Chris. So probably one or two of those guys won't make it. That's not because I don't want to bring them to you. It's because something will have come up for them that they didn't foresee. Like Arnold tonight almost didn't happen because he was at work and didn't know if he could sneak out.
He was in the hospital.
He was in the hospital putting dudes to sleep with anesthesia. So it is what it is. But we're going to try to bring you all the best in entertainment every week. And then Sean will be here too.
By the way, I did want to say something.
Go ahead.
About Tyler or about Flowers, Trenton Flowers. Trenton, the one thing that I'll say is people forget that he reclassified.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be a guy. I wasn't expecting him necessarily to even start. I thought he'd be first guy off the bench.
Sure.
Is where I was thinking he was going to be. And then maybe as the season went along,
worked his way into the starting lineup.
He would be in the starting lineup by the end of the season, be a major factor. He did what was best for him. Do I think the timing was terrible? Yeah.
That's the only thing I hold against. The timing could not have been. If the rumors are true and these guys came and scouted him at the Team USA thing in July, he knew a whole lot longer than when he said he was going to leave. But that's not for me to judge. That's his dream to play pro basketball. That's what he's doing. The Flowers family have been phenomenal to me, so I'm not going to throw no dirt at all. That's not my style anyway.
Yeah, but
there's people in this chat that can attest to that. I ain't never been a dirt thrower. So, but I think there's that many guys that are better than him at this moment, and they're older. Some of them a lot more. Trey is
that's the guy,
muscle man.
That's the guy that I think could be possibly the best player on the team.
I think so too, and I think Dennis is going to surprise a whole lot of people too. And I can tell you this: Brandon Huntley, Hatfield, and JJ have progressed. It's almost like all the stuff going on off the court took Brandon's focus away. That and having a guard that won't pass you the ball might do that. But love you though, buddy. That's not here this year. And I think he's going to be more focused and he's going to be more powerful. And there's really not a player on the team. I think Okafor will be better. Curtis, I think Curtis is going to be the guy that nobody's talking about now that everybody will be talking about towards tournament time. Tyler, I think he'll be good. Karan Davis, I think he's going to come in. I think Karan Davis is going to be the 6th man of the year for us.
No, that's
I really do. And gosh, who else did I forget? I think I've named pretty much everybody on the team. Oh, no, Caleb Glenn. I think Caleb Glenn is going to get some minutes. I'm not sure how many because he's still young. And when you got players of the who are as athletic as the rest of our season players are, that makes it hard. But I hope that he comes into he continues to come into practice and give it to those older guys. How's Hersey looking? That's who I forgot was Hersey Miller and Zan Payne. Forgot Zan. Hersey's looking decent. I mean, he was good last year. He didn't get a whole lot of opportunities. I believe he's improved. Brian's looking forward to watching Mike James, second full off season after surgery. Mike James is going to be a beast this year. He's going to attack that rim, and I cannot wait for him.
I felt bad for him because defensively, if you remember when he first got here, the talk was he was the best defender on the team. And then he got that Achilles injury. And last year, I'd tell you right now, that Achilles injury, he was still having issues. You know, he hadn't gotten his quickness back yet, his lateral quickness. And that's why he struggled defensively. I think you're going to see the defender that Chris Mack raved about this year.
Yeah, Russell, absolutely. Wes, when I say most of the team can return, even BHH and JJ, I was just told most of the team could return. So even if it was everybody but those two, that would still be everybody but those two. What's the scoop on Trainer? From what I'm told and from what I've seen, he's better than he was at the end of last year. JJ is a kid that every year he's gotten better. And with guys like Boo Brewer and JJ's grandfather and just a group of people that he's around, that's going to happen because they're basketball driven. They know how to train players. They know how to improve players. So I feel like JJ's going to do phenomenal this year.
How's his outside shot looking? Because I swear,
I'm not giving away all the secrets, Sean.
too bad. Because I swear, his freshman year, I was like, this dude's our best 3-point shooter. And then
Fabian. So Fabian came in at the right time because he's leading off the next segment. Everything is Kenny Payne's fault these days.
yeah.
So what I asked the group chat to do today was to come on the show and tell us something that's happened in your life that's Kenny Payne's fault. Gonna have a little fun with it. Some of the funnier ones I got. Somebody dropped their toothbrush. Must be Kenny Payne's fault. The football team didn't win by enough. That's Kenny Payne's fault. I accidentally passed gas at church. That's Kenny Payne's fault. Fabian says, I didn't cut my grass today, and that's Kenny Payne's fault. So send us some of your favorite Kenny Payne's fault thing. Sean is 41 and never had a date. That's Kenny Payne's fault.
All his fault. All his fault.
What?
I'll never forgive him. I'll never. No.
He was a beast in Tiger Day. Absolutely, James. Give us some more. Chat line, you give us some more things that are Kenny Payne's fault. Let's laugh. We're joking, of course, because, I mean, Kenny can sneeze the wrong way, and he should be taking things more serious. Sean, tell me one thing going on in your life right now that's Kenny Payne's fault. Could be false, could be true. You got to sell it, though, brother.
Kenny Payne has caused me to have to do 2 jobs at work, not 1, 2. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it so much.
Cardinal says, me missing out on all the good chat information today. Kenny Payne's fault. More minutes this season. L or Tyler? Well, I'm going to say Tyler because L don't play for us anymore.
That'd be interesting.
I think I'm going to slam the door on Tyler and the over. And the over is 1. Stephen C says, my taxes got raised. That's Kenny Payne's fault. These are good. I love these. Obviously, there's some inappropriate ones you could put in there that I did get today. I will not say those. Even though we're not FCC regulated, they allow Sean's face to be on the show.
I know. Uneffing believable.
Daggone it, Sean. So it is what it is. I'm going to go to rapid fire. Y'all send me some more stuff that's Kenny Payne's fault. I love it. It's awesome. Biggest news of the week. No, it's not Louisville Live. It's not IU being wussies. Or losers. Oh, yeah. I got the Cardinal megaphone for the Collision Course Crew tailgate. Like I needed a megaphone. Why is it not working? Oh. My mom's going to kill me if this goes off. I better turn it off. It's not working. I missed the first hour of the show. That's Kenny Payne's fault. RG says 100% correct. Everything is Kenny Payne's fault. What's up, everybody? Tannehill was cheeks against the Saints. Kenny Payne's fault. I like it. I like it. No, it's not. The biggest news of the week's not Louisville Live. It's not IU being pansies. We may have got Sean a date, everybody.
Thank you.
If Arnold Jackson can't get off work for the football alumni game, it's Kenny Payne's fault.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love that one. Higgy, I'm not even reading yours. Wes says if we don't shut out IU, that's Kenny Payne's fault. No, I'm gonna go ahead and read Higgy's because apparently he can contribute in the chat, but not to the show. Higgy can't eat healthy food, even though he didn't spell hardly any of those words correctly. It's Kenny Payne's fault. Whew. We may have got Sean a date. We did. I got to give a shout out to my special little friend John Lindeman. He actually put me in touch with this girl for the screening process. Come to find out, lifelong friend of my wife's. Somebody I already knew. So facilitated that. I had to make Sean text her. He was scared. Hims was a little wuss, but we got him to text her, and will it be 1 week tomorrow? Y'all been texting? Now we're not calling this a relationship because it's not.
No, it's not.
They're getting married, everybody, but it's not a relationship.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh. I swear on everything. I can't see who's entering the chat. But if it is Higgy,
Who
No.
is it?
No, it's Higgy, and I'm not letting him in.
Ah.
I swear, if it's him again, I'm just nope, just not gonna do it.
Higgs.
Why is my
Higgy. By the way, happy birthday, Higgy. I forgot to tell you that yesterday.
why is this not working? Oh, Jesus! That's what it's gonna sound like in Indianapolis.
Oh boy, I don't want to hear that because that means I got pulled over.
No, that's what I'm saying. Look, I told Steve earlier. Shout out to the first 10 people heading up to Indianapolis who get pulled over that are crawling, so the rest of us can walk and run up there that are going. Higgy can't lose 5 pounds. That's KP's fault. Oh
my God.
Gosh.
Wow. It's wow.
Does JJ Trainer get an extra year? If not, it's Kenny Payne's fault. James Gartland says he is going to get catfished. Okay. 1 week anniversary on text. Big step. Congrats, Sean, from Brian. Chris said the Bengals sucked this week. Kenny Payne's fault. Hey, the Steelers did too. Kenny, you've got a lot of blame going around, bro. Sean leaves his wallet at home and his date has to pay for the date. It's Kenny Payne's fault.
That's good.
That's probably my winner.
Yeah, I can't argue.
The fact that we're talking about Sean and date in the same sentence is just blowing my mind. Now look, this guy's one of the best guys I ever met in my entire life. He's always here when I ask him to be here for the shows. No matter what I need. He's even offered to, like, when my mom and dad during COVID were at home, he offered to take them groceries if they needed them. I didn't want to put them, I didn't want to inconvenience them. And plus, Joey lived close to him, so he did it. But he was willing to do anything for it, and I'm so happy. I mean, I'm not jumping the gun or anything. They've not got to save a date yet. I better be the best man, but it is what it is. I'm truly, genuinely happy for Sean just to be talking to somebody, no matter how awkward it might be, no matter how many times she falls asleep while they're talking. I'm genuinely happy. Steroid investigations, Kenny Payne's fault. James said the show's hilarious. Look, we try. We may not be bachelor degree in podcastologists, but I'm super funny. I'm super entertaining. And if you look at Sean's face, you're going to laugh every time. I promise you that. Sean finally sees action, but it is a minute man. It's Kenny Payne's fault.
Oh, my God. Who was that? Who was that?
Wesley Keys in the building. He's getting pulled over first. More rapid fire news. 502 Circle partnered with Learfield to make the 502 Circle this official this week. It's the official NIL collective for the university. Number 2 volleyball continued their dominance with sweeping victories over number 12 Penn State and number 21 Redacted. Thank you, Higgy, for that. Number 5 Stanford in the building on Sunday. You got to think if they beat them, they jumped to number 1, right? They had been on a phenomenal run. They game last night, highest attended volleyball game in Louisville football history, or Louisville volleyball history, and maybe football too. It was like 12,790, I believe.
Yeah.
It's just going off the top of my head. I'm probably wrong by a couple. Great support for the volleyball team.
They're good too. This is the year.
I don't know what the record is because Higgy didn't include it like I asked him to.
I know they're undefeated.
Well, I know there's something in O, but women's soccer is 1-4-1. The women's soccer team went 1-1 this week, got their first victory.
That's good.
They were able to pick that first victory up Sunday against Central Michigan with a 3-0 win, and then they followed it up with a loss to IU. That better be the only loss to IU this week.
Why IU? Why?
Speaking of why, they then tied Wyoming 2-2 this week. Up next for the Cardinals, they host Virginia on Saturday at 7 p.m. The number 4 Louisville field hockey team, also 6-0, one of several undefeated teams on campus, finished their Pennsylvania road trip with a 2-1 victory over Penn University. Freshman Space and scored both the Cardinals' goals. Gosh dang it, Higgy. The Cardinals then returned home to face number 18 Ohio State and got the 2-1 victory over the Buckeyes. They also won in overtime 2-1 over VCU. Up next, the Cardinals traveled to Chapel Hill on Friday to face North Carolina at 3 p.m. There's no ranking next to North Carolina's name, but the ACC, all of the ACC's field hockey teams
I'm pretty sure North Carolina's
are
national
ranked. Well, you can't look that up, can you?
No, I'm pretty sure they are.
Hold on. I'm gonna here, Sean, look it up. I believe they're in the top 5, honestly. Take Flowers on the first date, Sean, and not Trenton. Brian says, shout out to Coach Denny for those fire shoes. Absolutely. Me getting pulled over in the chat is definitely Kenny Payne's fault. Okay, I quit. Sean, don't forget to shower before your date. Good God, James. But really, Sean, don't forget.
Number two.
I thought they were ranked higher than we were. So thanks. I'm going to start giving you the phone for. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, buddy. Let me go back to my Facebook live feed so I know. Hi, Sherry. Thanks for tuning in. I am honored that Sherry, my sister Sherry, is tuned into the chat, the show. Wish Joey was in here too, but none of my co-hosts, but Sean, give a crap to be here on time. So it is what I'm firing bullets at them tonight, y'all. I promise that. Women's golf. The women's golf team started off the 2023 season with competing in the Boilermaker Classic. I have to listen when I do these rapid fires. I'm trying to decipher Higgy's broken English, so sometimes it sounds like I'm stupid. I'm not. I can promise you that. Graduate senior Hannah Ricekava led the Cardinals, shooting a 6 under par. Pretty nice. Cardinals finished in 4th place in the event and finished 12 over par as a team. Up next for the Cardinals, they are off this week before competing in the Mason Rudolph Invitational, and not Mason Miracle, against Vanderbilt or at Vanderbilt on the 22nd.
I'm assuming that's also not the former Steelers quarterback. They're saying that.
Oh my God, I hate you so much, Sean. Number 7 men's speaking of undefeated teams on campus, the number 7 men's soccer team, 4-0-1. Had an eventful week as well with top 20 matches. On Tuesday, the Cardinals hosted number 19 Kentucky. They jumped out to a 2-0 lead and never looked back. The Cardinals took down that team 4-2. The Cardinals then traveled to number 4 Syracuse for the ACC opener. The reigning ACC Offensive Player of the Week, Gage Guerra, scored early and scored the last goal to give the Cards the draw against Syracuse. The Cards, even with the draw Friday night, are out to the best start in school history through 5 games. Up next, the Cards host Virginia Tech on Friday at 8 p.m. Look, their coach has been on Twitter, very vocal. They want you all to come out and support them like you did volleyball. This week, it's very important to support the men's soccer team tomorrow night and then go out Sunday. Is it Sunday? At the Yum Center versus Stanford?
Yes.
I just said it,
yes.
So I couldn't remember. And go support them. And that has been this week in Cardinal Athletics so far. Uncle Larry is watching, probably from his backside.
Mm-hmm.
This is easily the best show of the season. Well, thank you, Brian. I guess less is more. You know, I paid a lot of money, full disclosure, and because I'm pissed at the rest of the co-hosts, I paid a lot of money for that intro, and all their names are in it. And only one of them had the common decency to message me and say, hey, I can't do it tonight. So it is what it is. Sean, you're a good sport. Good luck on your first date with the blow-up doll. She's a real girl, a real person. The Walker kid, Chris Curry, with another good one. The Walker kid at UNC declared ineligible. Mac Brown said it's Kenny Payne's fault. I don't disagree. So if you can, which I'm not one of these people that try to tell people how to fan, if you don't have nothing to do tomorrow night, Friday night at 8, get out, go watch the men's soccer team at Lynn Stadium. Go support the football team Saturday in Indianapolis. And Sunday, make it to the KFC Yum Center. What's up, Hunter? I bought a black T-shirt with a taped on red S from Sidney Curry. It's Kenny Payne's fault. Good Lord. U of L basketball losing in 2012. Actually, it's Kenny Payne's fault. Well, yeah, I guess it is because he was coaching the opposite team. That's a really good one. We need to beat Stanford in volleyball. Nebraska had an excellent showing Tuesday night against them. Great point there. But again, Friday night, men's soccer. Saturday, football. Sunday, volleyball at the KFC Yum Center.
That's loaded.
It's a loaded weekend if you're a Louisville fan. And make sure, as always, another example this week, Jeff Nunn's photo gallery from Murray State, averaging about 80,000 views a day, which is phenomenal. We love photo gallery season because it almost, it does double our normal views per day. And he always brings the fire. JK, he does our baseball and women's basketball. He's amazing. TJ does men's and women's basketball himself. They split the women's basketball. They're amazing. And then we got a new guy on the staff that Jeff has brought in to photo to shoot the other sports, the Olympic sports, the track and field, the swimming, the soccer, stuff like that. Looking forward to seeing his first gallery. Don't know when he officially starts. I'll let Jeff take care of the photographers. That's his thing. That's the only thing he does is take pictures and falls asleep at 4:30 after dinner. Uncle Larry says, Mr. Thrash will thrash the Hoosiers defensive backs on Saturdays. Yeah, I think so too. Guys, another awesome hour with you all. Another awesome show. I appreciate and love you guys so much. Shout out to all of our fine sponsors, Fitness Market, Four-Peck Smokehouse, and the Collision Course Crew tailgaters. Make sure you get out to all the home tailgates and see the Collision Course Crew in action. They serve up a good time, good food. They don't ask for anything, but donations are appreciated. Don't be a chooch and dine and dash. Yeah, buddy. I love Jersey Shore. I'm sorry. I'm putting that in there. The best staff in all things Louisville sports. Thank you, Robbie. That means a lot to us because I know how much you watch everybody, and that means a lot. It always has. Look, Robbie was really one of the first. I say that I don't try to say this to sound douchey, but he was one of the first fans that supported the website. He came out to when we did shows out at Cardinal State. We did the Florida State Louisville football game. He came out there. There was some Sports Center tapings he came out for. He's always supported us, and we appreciate that. Brian says we appreciate you and Sean for showing up, and of course Arnold Jackson. He was the best Jackson of all time here at Louisville. I still want to say he ranks as 1B. Lamar's 1A. He won the Heisman.
Yeah, you can't take that.
But Arnold's a 1B.
Arnold would have won a Heisman. He should have.
No, he really should have. I think he was our first receiver ever with 90 catches back-to-back years. It was stupid. It was something stupid like
returns.
that.
I'll never forget that, man. His punt returns and kick. Oh my god.
Dude would have had 5,000 yards return if all the flags hadn't been thrown. If you all want to sponsor the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, and trust me, we're putting fillers out there. I got started late because of my health. Shout out to our guys out at Danny Mac's Pizza. We're negotiating with them at the moment. Order some food from it. Go pick it up. Let them know you heard about them from the Cardinal Sports. Even if you didn't, just tell them you heard about them from the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast and heard that they may be thinking about doing business with us. That might help us out. You can find us, speaking of the podcast, you can find us on all the social medias underneath Sean right now. We are at Card Sports Zone on Instagram, Twitter. Y'all can call it X if you want to. I'm going to call it Twitter. Then on Facebook at Cardinal Sports Zone, 3 separate words, and at Cardinal Sports Zone, 1 word on YouTube. You can find us on all the podcast avenues: Apple, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, iHeart, just to name a few. Hit the subscribe, follow, stalk, tote, whatever. Hit the button. Get our episodes immediately when they come out via audiobook, video audio version, via audio version. You get the video when live. So make sure you like us and subscribe to us on YouTube. You'll know when we go live, even if we're early, a couple minutes late, you'll know. If you haven't listened to all the prior episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast, it's real easy. Go to cardinalsportszone.com, go to the podcast tab, go to the drop-down menu. You can listen to all the prior episodes of the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast there, and on all the podcast avenues as well. They're library there. And you can listen to all the old episodes of Live with 55, which I had some great guests that I haven't even had on this show yet. And you can just listen. Sean was a producer of that show. And I didn't let him talk on that one either. I apologize, Sean. But go to the drop-down menu, podcast drop-down menu, CSZ podcast, Live with 55. It is what it is. We're bringing you all as much contact as we can. I'm doing Live with 55s now during the week, a couple during the week to promote the upcoming show, or if there's something cool that's happened, get on there and talk about it. Normally when I'm getting ready to go into the gym or leaving the gym. So stay tuned for that. And Sean, we got to come up with some more ideas. I need a Higgy food review show.
No, we need to pronounce this again. We got to have pronounce.
We got to have pronounce. Yeah, that's definitely it. We could do a video version of pronounce this where we're holding the sign in front of him.
That's funny.
Robbie, it's actually been a little bit longer. So This is our 5th year of the CSC podcast. Then we were on 93.9 for 5 years. And then we were on Blog Talk Radio for a year and a half. So it's about 11 and a half. I don't remember exactly. For the website, though, we started the website in 2012. So, it's been, okay, sorry. Opposite way. It's been 12 years for the website. It's been 10 years for us on radio of some way or form. So, yes, you were correct. I apologize. Uncle, oh, no, that's an old comment. Again, cardinalsportzone.com, podcast tab, CSZ podcast, Live 55. Check them all out. Check out all the exclusives on cardinalsportzone.com, the place it all began. Support our great writers. We got a great writer. Sean's a great writer. Dalton Pence is a great writer. Justin Kruger, he's a great writer.
Oh, everything you need to know. You need to be checking that
Every
out.
week, everything you need to know. It's on cardinalsportzone.com right now. Just scroll up, you'll find it. He gives you pretty much a cheat guide on what you're going to see, what he thinks you're going to see. Most of the time, it ends up happening. Check it out. Am I missing any other? Like, we have other people that contribute from time to time. Sam Bazin, he's a good writer.
He does the recaps.
But everybody else, when they do it regularly, does a pretty good job. But if you're voting for that's what I want. If you're voting on the Leo Weekly Awards, vote Best Writer, Dalton Pence or Justin Kruger. Podcast, CSZ podcast. Favorite radio personality, whoever you want to. Best website, cardinalsportzone.com. Just support us that way. We appreciate it. Shout out to everybody who's out there sharing the podcast. We appreciate y'all too. And shout out to our guys, Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage, doing the Lord's work every day, Monday through Friday from 10 to noon on ESPN 93.9 The Ville. Sean, we have gotten to the part of the show. It's the last words. Before you give your last words, I want to go ahead and catch up on the chat line. Love Card Nation from James. I already said that. I knew it. You and Steve started. Yeah, me, Steve, and Justin Rink, we actually started together. And then it's a funny thing because we started the podcast. Then a couple weeks later, one of our buddies, Lloyd Spence, he had a show that was on right before KSR every day, or right after.
Yeah,
it was right
Talking
after.
Noise.
Talking Noise. And he asked us to come in and do a show. We killed it. He saw our talent. He killed it. And as much as y'all are going to hate me for saying this, every time we went in there to do our show, Matt Jones and Shannon Grigsby was there, and Tony Vanetti, don't want to forget Tony, were there giving us pointers on how, because that was a slot, ended up being a slot where Lloyd moved on to do something else, and they had like a month and a half where they weren't going to have any hosts. So we did it every day for a month. Or maybe it was a couple times. I think they had us in for a couple days a week, and they had other people. They were just filling the time. And Matt helped us out. He has always been good to me. I know he's not always been good to our team or our fan base, and then from there, that's when we decided, hey, let's do the CSZ. Let's continue to do the CSZ podcast for a little bit longer. Then we got approached by 790 and 93.9. We chose to go to 93.9, and the rest is history. Then when my dad got really sick, and my dad got really sick, and something else happened at the same time, and I had to step away from the Saturday show, and our show ceased to exist because of it. And then we started doing this podcast. A couple months later, us and the guys from the Big Red Louie at the time, Presley, Jacob, Ethan, come in, and we did a super show really with Keith Kelsey, Ivan Green, Daniel Spencer was even in the building for that one, doing the mixing board, and it's been all like it's like I told my mom earlier, I can do this forever. I love this stuff, and I hope to do it for as long as I can. So I appreciate your support, Robbie. Day one, really. I remember when you won the Red Rage Tailgate Championship belt. That was dope. Just for support, and you've always been a good supporter. But last words, Sean, go ahead, and you don't have to say them in this microphone, even though I've doctored it up with Louisville stickers. It is what it is.
I only got, I'm not even going to count them. I just got a few words, and that is, let's murk those Hoosier losers.
You said there weren't going to be any murks today.
You know what? I changed my mind. I was inspired. Let's mark the Hoosier Losers.
Sean's got a date. Sorry, Sean's texting a girl, and now he thinks he can just murk everybody. Sorry, I didn't need that. Robbie says, and look how everyone's studios have grown. It's been a pleasure to watch and listen. Y'all been here with us, so y'all watched us grow up. Brandon says, we love it. Best show out there. Man, it means a lot to us, Brandon. Here's my last words. We are going to beat the dog piss out of Indiana. And if we don't, we're going to hopefully wake up the next day and breathe, and then we can hear how it's Kenny Payne's fault that we lost the football game all week on the radio.
Blame him too, because he was at practice.
He was, yeah. Stay tuned though. We may have something really special up our sleeves with the Collision Course crew. I haven't even told Sean about it.
Ooh. We'll
talk about it after the show. I think it could be big. I don't want to get y'all's hopes up, even though I just did. So we'll talk about it later. A long show tonight. We appreciate you all staying with us for this hour and 23 minutes. Sean, if you don't have anything else, we want to thank you all again for all the support. Again, underneath Sean's where you can follow us on social media. Underneath me is how you can support the podcast monetarily. Until next time, this has been the Cardinal Sports Zone podcast. I need to get some voiceover work, Sean.
Yes. You can make some money.
I need to make some money. I've got a big house plan to build.
Ooh. There you go.
We're gonna call it the Wompound instead of a compound. I think it's catchy. I think it's gonna work. Love you guys. We are out. Tell everybody about the show. Make them re-listen to it.